Hello and welcome to part 7 of this C# tutorial for teens. In this part, we will be learning about for loops. A for loop in C# is a loop that runs until a condition is false. The basic setup for a for loop looks like this. First, we have the initializer. The initializer is where we set up a variable that can only be used by the for loop. Next, followed by a semicolon, is the condition. A condition is an expression that will return true or false. If it's true, the loop will run again. We can write a condition using any comparison operator. When it's done running once, it checks the condition if it's done, and then so on. If the condition is false, the loop will stop running. Followed by a semicolon is the iterator. The iterator is what makes the for loop increase or decrease, and by what amount. Then inside the brackets, just like an if statement, is what happens every time the loop runs. Now we can go into Visual Studio and try the for loop out. First, in the main method, we type for, then parentheses. Inside these parentheses, we type the rules of the for loop. First is the initializer. The variable we will use is an int. We will make its name I and then make it equal 0. Then add a semicolon. Then we will make the condition. We will write I less than 10. Next, after another semicolon, we will type the iterator. Here we will make the for loop increase by 1. Now, instead of typing I equals I plus 1, we can just type I followed by 2 plus symbols. This will automatically add 1 to I. Then in the brackets, we can type console.writeLine, then type I in the parentheses to display the value of I every time it loops. Now if we run the code, we can see the numbers from 1 to 9 typed. This is because every time the loop ran, the value of I increased. But when I reached 10, because we wrote in the condition that I is less than 10, the condition became false and the loop stopped running. Try playing around with the for loop. Remember that you can replace any of these numbers with whatever integer you want. You can also make the for loop count down. To do that, first we will make I equal 10. Then make the condition I is greater than 0. Next, instead of I plus plus, we will write I minus minus. This will make I, instead of increasing by 1, decrease by 1. Now if we run our code, we can see that now, instead of counting up, I is counting down, starting from 10 to 1. As I said before, there are many ways that you can implement for loops. You can even make them go on infinitely. I encourage you to try researching them and figuring out how you can use them. Thank you for watching. This has been part 7 of the C# tutorial for teens. Please stay tuned.